Hey, I was recently tagged by DW from Dub's Beauty Diary to do the makeup collection tag, and this was originally created by Georgia Harris, and if I can find that original video, I will put it in the description box, as well as any other tag videos that I find. And it's just 14 questions about your makeup collection and how you feel about it, what you would change. And I'm gonna try to challenge myself and see how quickly I can go through the questions, because if you've been around for any length of time, you know that I can be a little long-winded, and there is value in being succinct. Number one, how long have you been collecting makeup? So I've always loved makeup, but I would say I started actively collecting makeup probably in 2015 or 2016. I worked at Ulta part-time and I took advantage of that discount, and I got into makeup YouTube around the same time, so it just all came together, and that's when I really started collecting makeup. What kind of collection do you have? And some of the examples that are given are minimal, utilitarian, aesthetic, historical, etc. I wouldn't say necessarily that my makeup collection is minimal, just by how I would define minimal makeup, but I'm sure to some people my collection is pretty pared down. And while I do love pretty packaging, and while that was a lot more important to me back in the day, I've certainly just evolved over time, and I don't really care as much about the packaging. I care much more about the actual product, and so everything I have in my collection is more utilitarian than anything. Third question is, are you a completionist? I'm pretty sure a completionist is someone who likes to have the full set. So if a makeup company comes out with an eyeshadow palette every year, a completionist would have all the palettes and purchase that new palette every year to make sure that they always have the complete set. And I would say no, by no means am I a completionist at all. How do you store or organize your collection? I have a beautiful desk that I recently purchased through Facebook Marketplace. It's a mid-century desk that somebody went through and redid and painted some pieces of it. I will put a picture of it here to show you, and I do give a little peek inside my drawers in my most recent everyday makeup drawer video, and that's kind of how I keep things organized. I tend to keep stuff organized by category, and then I have a drawer in the top center of the desk where I keep my everyday makeup drawer, which is, stuff that I'm reaching for to try to finish or play around with. And of course I do grab into the other drawers as I go, but for the most part, the things I use on a regular basis are in that middle top drawer. Number 5, what's your favorite thing about your collection? My favorite thing is that it's very curated and it's very customized specifically for me. My collection is a good representative of myself, because I spend a lot of time making sure that I'm only bringing in things I'll like, and every piece of makeup I have is stuff I really enjoy or something that fits within my makeup routine. Number 6, what's your least favorite thing about or something to improve your collection? A big portion of the content I make is specifically to find balance and to curate my collection and to make sure everything I have works for me. So I don't really have a least favorite thing or something that I would change, because that's kind of the whole point of documenting my makeup enthusiasm. I would say my least favorite thing is that there are pieces of makeup that I really love and have enjoyed over the years, and eventually they expire, and sometimes I'm not able to keep them and I'm not able to replace them. So sometimes I'm not able to keep the products that I really love for forever. What is the biggest category of your collection? I would say I have the most eyeshadow pans out of anything else, but I do use multiple eyeshadows for looks. So if I'm looking at the biggest collection I have in relation to how I do my makeup, I'd probably say I have the most blushes. What's the smallest category of your collection? I would say mascaras. I usually only ever have 3 or 4 at a time, and I usually only ever have 1 open at a time. Do you have a holy grail in your collection? I would say probably the top products that I have had for the longest amount of time or repurchased the most times would have to be the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and the RCMA No Color Powder, and the Besame Violet Powder to set my under eyes. Number 10, do you ever wish your collection was bigger, smaller, or is it complete? And I wouldn't say my collection is complete, but I would say it's very balanced. At any given time, I don't really wish it was bigger or smaller. I like that I'm able to finish enough products at the relatively same pace as I bring in new things. So I always have new things that are exciting to try, but I also still have my old favorites. Number 11, how often do you declutter makeup in your collection? I do 1, maybe 2 declutter videos a year, but probably a handful of times throughout the year I go through and just grab the the products that I don't want to keep anymore. So under a handful of times a year. Question 12, do you ever get envious seeing other people's makeup collections? Not anymore, not for a long time. For the most part, when I look at somebody else's collection, I can see that it's great for them and I love watching how they use it and how they enjoy it, but I don't necessarily need to have somebody else's collection to be happy. And you know, on the rare occasion I'll see someone's collection and they'll show something and I'll be like, oh, I would really love to try that. I would love to have that. For the most part, I can go and just get it, like within reason, unless it's limited edition or super expensive and I don't think it's worth buying. 13, who on YouTube has the best makeup collection video? I love watching makeup collection videos, so there are a ton that I really like. If I can find some recent examples of favorites, I will put them in the description box. But currently I'm loving Karima McKimmy's Declutter series. She picks a category of makeup and then she lays them all out on a table, and then she goes into detail about the stuff she really loves, and then she only keeps like her absolute favorite. It's a brutal declutter, but it's also a really great snapshot into her collection. Karima's channel is one of the first ones I ever watched, and she is a big inspiration for why I started a channel too. And I've just been such a fan of hers over the years, so I just really recommend her. I love how she films things and how she talks about things. I just really like her style, so I would say that's currently my favorite makeup collection style video, even though it's technically more of a declutter. Very last question, number 14, is what's some advice you'd give to a future makeup collector? So I would say that if you are starting to get into makeup and you like the idea of having a collection, I would regularly check in with yourself to ask yourself why. What is it about being a makeup collector that you really love? And make sure you're always making decisions based on that. And maybe also just be smart about how quickly you start collecting makeup. Just check in with yourself and make sure that you're doing things that are authentic to you, making decisions that make sense for yourself, for how much space you have, for your budget, for your makeup preferences and style. I don't recommend just going and buying everything under the sun just because somebody somewhere said something nice about it. But of course, do whatever you want. Like, there aren't really any rules, but make sure that you're doing things that make sense for your current circumstances and your style. And for the most part, there's no rush. Like, enjoy the process. It's fun. So those are all the questions. You are officially tagged if you're watching. If you have an Instagram or a YouTube channel of your own, or you just want to answer in the comments, please do so. I'd love to see more people's answers. I've been having a lot of fun watching other people's videos. I do have another tag video that I'm going to be filming probably today too, and it's one that a YouTuber that I talk about pretty often just created. It's like a new tag, and I've been seeing other people do it and I want to do it myself, and I'm not going to say which one, but if you want to guess in the comments, it's a fairly popular tag that's going around right now, but it's pretty new, like it was created within the last few weeks. Let me know if you can guess it in the comments. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, but in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!